last year and is set to pay out upwards of $332 billion more this year, with multiples as high as nearly $32 for every $1 invested. Simply isn't open to regular investors like you. Instead, the private pre-IPO market remains the personal money mint for a small number of millionaires and billionaires who have been calling the shots here for more than 80 years. I don't think that's right. I think you should have access to this new money too. So I've done something about it. Hi, my name is Michael Robinson. I'm the Director of Venture Capital and Technology Investing here at Money Morning. There is no doubt the private pre-IPO market is exploding right now. It's exploding in cash, in the number of payouts, and in the multiples being paid. This is by far the biggest single money-making event I've seen in my 34 years working here in Silicon Valley. You hear about these private companies going public all the time. Twitter, Lending Club, Shake Shack, Alibaba, Box Inc., Hortonworks, and hundreds more. Nearly every day, Bloomberg, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times report on investors who made millions, even billions of dollars. Like Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, who made $45 million in just 11 months after TrueCar went public in May of last year. Jeffrey Crow, one of the top private investors in the world, made $762 million the day Lending Club went public this past December. Jim Getz, the driving force behind Sequoia Capital, earned a whopping $3 billion when Facebook acquired WhatsApp last year for $19 billion. Of course, these people have a lot of money to invest, but the multiples are the same no matter who you are. And that can mean big money for anyone who can gain access to these deals. And that's why I'm here today, to show you how to do just that. Here's what I'm talking about. Snapchat, the photo-sharing upstart, is getting ready to pay out $14.1 billion to a handful of private investors. That's a 1,600% return. Automatic, the company behind WordPress, could soon pay out over $1 billion, a 600% windfall. Square, the credit card processor, is about to pay out $4.4 billion, a 1,200% return. Online hotel sensation Airbnb is getting ready to shell out $9.2 billion in profits, a 1,250% return for those private investors. Internet music giant Spotify could soon pay out $3.47 billion for a 770% return. File storage company Dropbox, $9.3 billion for a 1,600% return. And Xiaomi, the Chinese smartphone company, could pay out over $44.6 billion in the coming months for a whopping 3,180% return. Who wouldn't want to get in on these kinds of gains? And these are just a fraction of the more than 588 private deals in the works right now, a number that's been growing every year since 2005, according to CB Insights, when there were just 57 deals like these. This market is so hot that the Wall Street Journal started something they call the $1 Billion Startup Club. It's a list of private companies valued at $1 billion or more. In 2010, it would have had just 11 members, General Motors and Tesla among them. Right now, the list features 78 companies set out to pay over $330 billion to private investors when these companies go public. That's nearly a third of $1 trillion. And at the pace the list is growing, there could be $132 billion plus companies a year from now paying out $500 billion or more. But here's the troubling part. The government doesn't think you should have easy access to these windfalls. So they make it very difficult for you to get in. They say you have to be what's called an accredited investor, which means you have to have a net worth of $1 million or make more than $300,000 a year if you're married. Even if you meet these requirements, you'll likely have to plunk down the standard $100,000 to $1 million minimum to get in on these massive returns. That's why I'm so excited about the pre-IPO opportunity created especially for you. It finally gets you into the top pre-IPO deals like these, private companies that have been closed off to regular investors for more than 80 years, all under terms exclusive to Money Morning members. because I think it's high time you had this kind of access. The money is so huge here that everyone is getting into the act. Mutual funds, hedge funds, and big banks are now plowing money into private pre-IPO deals. BlackRock, Fidelity Investments, and T. Rowe Price, the biggest money managers in the world, have invested in 19 of these private billion-dollar companies so far. Even endowments, foundations, and pension funds, the most conservative and regulated institutions in America, are pouring money in. As the Wall Street Journal says, they're funneling money into the winners before they go public. And why shouldn't you be able to join them? And the money is big. Xiaomi, the smartphone maker I mentioned earlier, is a great example. It's a private company. It's gone through 5 rounds of funding, raising $1.4 billion from private investors. Yet it's valued at $46 billion, according to the Wall Street Journal. That's over 31 times the money investors have put into it, a 3,180% gain. A minimum $100,000 investment could turn into $3.18 million at the opening bell. Imagine if you were a part of a deal like this. Then there's Palantir. Its technology started with PayPal in the early 2000s. Its engineers were looking to uncover fraud through a system called link analysis. Palantir has great technology. It even helped expose Bernie Madoff and find Osama bin Laden. It's already said to be making millions. And in the past 11 years, it's gone through 7 rounds of funding, raising $1 billion. Now it's estimated to be worth $15 billion and set to hand its pre-IPO investors 15-to-1 gains. That's roughly $1.5 million on every $100,000 invested. And who wouldn't want a piece of that? Or look at the new mobile advertising venture called InMobi. It started in 2007, went through 4 rounds of funding, and is now valued at $2.5 billion. It's on track to fetch a sweet return of 11-to-1 for its pre-IPO investors. And look at Stripe, a company that allows you to quickly set up credit card payments on websites and apps. It's now valued at $3.5 billion and set to hand investors 18-to-1 gains. Or Houzz, the company that built an app that helps you with home renovations. It went through 4 rounds of funding, raised $215 million, and is now valued at $2.3 billion. That's a better than 10-to-1 return. Imagine how your life could change if you were part of that money. Just look at Uber. It's valued at $41.2 billion, which is almost 12 times what venture capitalists set for it just a year ago. It's now estimated to hand its pre-IPO investors nearly 15-to-1 gains. But do regular investors have a stake in these surefire winners? Not unless they're very rich, highly connected, or both. In fact, there are only 17 people in the world who can get you into these companies, and you better have hundreds of thousands, even millions to invest before you try and contact them. Today's deal changes all that. That's because through a very close venture capital contact of mine you'll hear from in a minute, I've uncovered a way for you to bypass that route, where you don't need accredited investor status, where you don't have to put down hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time, and most importantly, where you get special terms that are exclusive to Monday Morning, like not having to pay the huge fees that even rich investors pay to get in on these deals. And the deal is so shockingly simple. Once you're in, you'll have rolling access to wave after wave of the top private companies in the world. All you have to do is decide how much money you want to put in. Then sit back and wait while some of the top venture capital investors in the world guide these companies to multi-million and sometimes multi-billion dollar exits. I'll tell you how the whole thing works in a minute. But first, let me tell you about one of the companies you'll own through this unique deal, one of dozens that could hand you a share of billions of dollars in new profits in the coming months alone. It's a private company that could return early investors as much as $12 for every $1 invested when it goes public mere months from now. This is one of the fastest growing companies in the world right now today. It's already part of that Wall Street Journal billion-dollar startup club I told you about earlier. It's extremely profitable, and it's bringing on new users at a rate of 50,000 a day, even faster than Facebook in its heyday. It controls over 70% of this already huge and ballooning market. The deal on the table today involves a late-stage, hyper-growth private company called Doc.